how to make a character in Dungeons and Dragons. I'm just gonna go off the first player's handbook here. I've got the first and the third. I would like the second, but I don't own it. But yeah, I'm just gonna go off the first here, and I'm gonna go through the races and kind of just talk about them. Yeah. So first up is gonna be Dragonborn. Let me find the page here. Do 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 do. No, we're in classes. It's a very small page section that has the actual races. Come on, you're making me look like a fool. Here we go, Dragonborn. Okay. So, what about Dragonborns? They're typically really cool. They're usually gonna find, one or two in a group. Very rarely will you find a group that doesn't have a Dragonborn. There'll always be that one kind of guy in the group who, when you guys start playing, he'll open it up, and of course, it's the very first thing you see is, "Holy shit, I can be a dragon." And who doesn't want that? You will often find Dragonborn players to be a little, either they'll be dragon kids, those kids that walk around your school and they're always wearing those silk T-shirts that have dragons on them, and you're just like, dude, what's up with that? And they'll be, really reserved, and they'll do their thing, or they'll be really instant gratification kind of people, where they're just kind of like, charge through the door, and the kind of people that sometimes, they just feel like, what the hell are you doing, But anyway, that's typically play Dragonborn. Because that's really all that they appeal to them. I am not a big fan, but I do think that they're pretty cool, and they can breathe fire and acid and other things. Next up, my very favorite, the dwarves. Basically, dwarf players you will find are, whilst not instant gratification players, you will find them to be pretty bold, if that's the word. They're very acquisitive. I love that word. This did teach me the word acquisitive. If you look under dwarf characteristics, acquisitive means that you're a hoarder. You love to have things. And I am definitely a dwarf in all aspects. There isn't a word there under characteristics that does not describe me. I don't think so. Dwarves are typically the best fighters, if you ask me. They're not the fastest, but they're so damn tough, and they're so damn good with awesome weapons that it totally is worth it. If you want sturdy, maximum HP, and uh, some pretty cool stuff for, like, good weapon proficiencies. If you're just gonna be a fighter and you want something solid, a dwarf, you can't go wrong. It's awesome. Um, Next up, we got Eladrin. Eladrin are kind of the version of high elves. You will find in most games you got high elves, you got, like, dark elves, and you got wood elves. And Dungeons and Dragons is no exception. From what I've garnered, Eladrin are high elves. I despise the living shit out of elves. I cannot express how gay they are, and literally and figuratively, absolutely gay. But in the spirit of talking about things, I will continue to go on about them. They basically are pretty fast and smart, just like all elves. And because nobody wants to have a group full of that, they've got more elves. And next up, we have the elf. Guess what? They're pretty fast and smart. Um, they they're the best archers. That's pretty much all that you get from an elf. Half elves. Oh, look, more elves. Um, they are pretty sturdier compared to a regular one, and they're pretty good talkers, apparently. Yeah. So, and they're apparently very versatile. I will give half elves that. They're my favorite because they're the least elven. Halflings. Love halflings. They eat 7 meals a day, one for every hour they're awake. Favorite quote ever for hobbits. Um, Basically, if you're gonna be a rogue, or even if you just want to be different, um, halflings are cool. Yeah. Humans, hands down the most versatile, if not the most OP class. I only say that they're OP because they just get to pick so much shit. Um, like really, if you can be whatever the hell you want as a human. You can be like the world's toughest fighter, or you could be like the world's most, nimble rogue. Do whatever you want. There's really no limit to it. And tieflings, kind of the demonic metal guys, and I say metal not that they're made of metal, but like, they're pretty demonic and pretty badass. Um, I've never had a tiefling player, so I don't know too awful much about them. Um, and they're just kind of evil almost. So yeah, they apparently make good leader classes. Speaking of which, now we're delving into the class place, and this is going to be a two-part video, and we're going to go on into classes in the next one.